My name is ABarthell, and this is my presentation for my Capstone project for my MA in Communication from Arizona State University. My project was called Adapting Organizational Management Practices to be Effective for the Remote Worker Through Organizational Training. Basically what that means in a nutshell is I focused my research on the unique needs of a remote worker and adapting a training program specifically for managers of remote workers and the justification for the creation of that. The number of people who work from home, telecommute, work in an out-of-office setting has been growing exponentially over the years, and the training programs for managers has not caught up or adapted to the unique needs of people who are working remotely. More and more of these challenges are emerging as the number of people who work with this non-traditional model increases. Managers have a direct impact on many aspects, such as productivity, job satisfaction, maintaining work-life balance, things that affect both the bottom line for a company as well as retention of employees and job performance and satisfaction on an individual level. They're kind of the gatekeepers of all those things. So over the years, it has been kind of a best practice of organizations to focus on training for managers to see a more direct result, and the trickle-down effect of how focusing on training managers more than individual employees really affects the bottom line more effectively. You see better results. There's 3 steps I chose to come about to the solution to this problem. Is first we need to, I went through and identified what the best practices of managers are, just in general, not specifically for remote employees, specifically. Countless hours. I mean, we're talking about, I've got, a lot of literature I've been able to find that help me establish what these best practices are. Clear and effective communication policies, as iterated by Falkheimer and Katerina 2008 or Spaho 2013. They should be inspirational and supportive in order to really engage those who directly report to them via Gardner and Clevenger 1998. Making sure your employees feel included is also another big one. Zhang and Men 2017, Kim on 2016 both reiterate that, as well as providing an environment that fosters commitment and loyalty within the employees themselves, per Jacobs 2008, and trust. They should inspire trust. Via Staples 2011, and this is how I've kind of established that baseline of what a managerial best practices are. The second thing is the unique requirements of the remote worker itself. Now there is a lot of literature that on the employee level that addresses what needs are uniquely inherent to the the remote worker model. Again, Staples 2001. Establishes the base that there are different principles, things like access to technology via Barron 2005, and training how to use that technology via Scartino 2017. They need to be able to feel trusted to do their jobs without that constant supervision, again, Staples 2001. And they still need to feel that appreciation, even if it is through the digital world. They're not face-to-face with their managers, but they need to know that what they're doing is appreciated. That's per White 2018. Risks of feeling isolated too need to be mitigated via Mulkey, Barty, Lask and Nanavati Dahl 2009, they really go into that, and also still feeling that connection, that human connection with your manager, per Reinsch 1999. So those are just some of the things that are uniquely, there's a large body of literature and research on the needs and issues regarding employees who are working remotely. Taking those 2 factors, I did do a lot of research, and there is not a lot on specifically for managers, research-wise out there, in the academia world, that about the managers of remote employees. So that's kind of a factor that there's not a lot of time spent on merging of the two. Definitely more towards the individual employee and managers in general. Second is discussing corporate training programs, which are the core of what my paper's point is to create. Corporate training programs are used by organizations to educate employees in order to the ultimate goal is to increase their own proper productivity. Again, via Griffin 2008. They're usually something internal done by like HR departments and things like that. But in order for them to see a return on their investment in the education and training of their employees, there are 4 things that a corporate training program entails. And so this is just in general, and then we go back and we'll, the ultimate end goal is to take these and then specifically adapt them for this particular training program. But in general, corporate training programs need a training and needs assessment in the beginning per Brown 2002, not only to help justify the need for the training, but also to help gauge and adhere to help with the design. So you need to have that needs assessment, number one, to prove the cost, the investment is worthy to leadership of the corporation. They're going to invest money in it, so they need to know it's worth it. And then also to help with criteria in design and what the body of the training, what the training is going to entail and actually teach and train. Again, that's one of the things that I did create the needs assessment using the Q4TE Caulfield questionnaire model, and you'll see in my paper itself I've got good examples just modeling off of that. That's pretty standard as far as professional surveys go, for a design. And then so my hypothesis ends up that managers of remote employees that complete a training program specifically geared to the needs of their remote employees are more effective than those without the corporate training program, which results in greater productivity for both managers and their remote report employees. My research question was that do remote employees have unique needs that need to be met by their managers through the creation of a specific corporate management training program for both managers and remote employees to be more productive and successful. Again, the justification is that gap. It's been well established. Training managers is an effective way for corporations, or organizations to reach more employees at a more cost-effective level. They train their managers. Their managers are the gatekeepers and the ones who are responsible for directly impacting, obviously there's individual responsibility as well, but a person's manager can basically make or break them, and their employee experience, which in turn is affecting the organization, so that it's been very well established that investing in training programs for specific issues for managers is a best practice and a very cost-effective method for organizations themselves. It has also been very well established that remote employees have very unique needs and requirements in order to be successful. So it just seems very logical if then to justify the need for a corporate training program for specifically managers who have direct reports who are remote employees. Then obviously using the standard model of creating a training program, which I have very thoroughly laid out in my my paper itself, which is very very standard. Needs assessment, design, the actual training itself, and then the follow-up survey to test the effectiveness, see if there's gaps, things like that. Those are the 4 main components of a corporate training program. So, we take my subject, which I've, spent a lot of time justifying, um, and reviewing, just to make sure, for accuracy and, things like that. And then taking that and then merging it with the model of the standard components of a corporate training program. Definitely a needs assessment would be another, actually provide, following through and completing a needs assessment, to see if a specific organization has a desire, um, would be another, way to justify, real world time that, whether it would be effective or not, or costs worthy, things like that. But definitely, more and more people are working from home, and given that their managers are really a key component to success for both the organization itself and the employees from a communication perspective. Good managers are effective and successful communicators, and there are unique methods, needs, and requirements when you're managing those remote employees. It just seems very logical to me that, designing a training program specifically for to meet all of those needs, would be a very warranted and worthy endeavor. And I thank you very much.